Welcome to another Tuesday night fighter practice guide on doing some pell work while you're unable to turn up to normal classes. Tonight I'm going to quickly look back over what we did last week and then move on and discuss offside shots and working on them on the pell. So last week we discussed the whole concept of this nice palm out up snap motion to get a nice smooth motion to hit the pell, and with that motion and the nice loose hand grip, switching into that handshake grip once we've actually hit the pell to deliver force and allowing us to hit the pell in multiple locations. Tonight we're going to take that general motion and we're going to introduce to the offside. Now there is many ways to throw an offside. I tend to teach three different methods. One is taken from the Oblomarkian method. One is that I have been taught previously by Sir Alpha, and I quite like it myself. And another one that you've kind of picked up and been taught by many fighters around. I can't name a single fighter specifically that taught me this method, but it is still a good method. So, getting straight into it, the first method is what I like to call the indirect offside. This is taught in the Oblomarkian style, where the sword is at the back of the head. You drop the tip down the back and let it slide out the side until it is going to my sword side out the front here. You pick the sword up ear to ear, hold it here, bring that right shoulder forward, and then unleash the actual blow into the pell. So at speed, the shot looks like that. It's a good shot for delivering power. I'll do one more facing the camera now. It's a good shot for delivering power into the opponent, but it is fairly slow. In a real fight, and when drilling it on the pell, once you've got the basic motions going, you can cut the corners slightly and just deliver it straight into the body. It is also a really good shot and a really good motion for learning how to get this sword hand super loose and to generate power by throwing the sword down the back and using the centrifugal force to actually deliver the blow into the opponent. So while I do use it when I want to get deep onto an opponent, and I do use it on the pell to get onto certain locations, it's not the fastest way to throw an offside from a standing start. But I do really like the clear, smooth motions it generates. A second way to throw an offside is more direct, and it relies on the exact same motions we were using for the snap, where we go palm down, drop it down our back. This time, as we bring it forward and throw the pommel of the sword towards the pell, we let the sword flip to almost the vertical position and then roll it over to the opposite side. So this time, instead of just letting throwing the pommel forward and letting the tip slide out to our right, we hold it on line a split second longer and let it flick to our left. This then involves pushing this shoulder forward to actually deliver the final blow. It can be, again, cut corners and so forth to get a smoother, faster motion. Front on, it looks like this. And the key here is that this right shoulder is driving forward all the way through to the very end. This shoulder is just moving forward to throw the power forward. Instead of the tip going out to the my right, your left, like a snap, we let it go to the left and flick it. Be careful not to hit the back of your head. After a little while you get used to it and you shouldn't hit yourself in the head, but be careful when you're first learning it because it is reasonably easy, especially if you're wearing a helmet you're not used to. The third style of offside that I want to teach tonight is it's a redirected snap. And what I mean by that is the shot looks just like a snap and is basically just like a snap up until this point here. And then at this point here, we redirect the blade by lifting our elbow to curl it around to the other side to hit the pell. This is a really nice shot because what it does is it hides for your opponent the fact that they think it's a snap right up to here, then it slips to the other side. This shot can be quite easy to learn for some people, but quite difficult for others. The reasoning being is that in all the previous shots, we've been bringing the shoulder forward and then bringing it back in one major motion, or we've been bringing that shoulder forward through the whole thing to drive that shot into the pell. This one requires us to bring the shoulder forward up until we get to this point here, and then to take the shoulder backwards as we lift this elbow to flick that tip over to the other side. So at reasonable speed, that's what the shot looks like. And from a front on, it looks like that. So I'm going to work through that one a little bit slower, just to make sure everybody understands where it's going to. Basically, we throw the shot, we let this tip come out further than you're kind of expecting, if not even leading your hand a little bit. And then, but you keep the elbow quite crooked and down like this. And my hand is very loose on this sword, I am not holding it tight. Once the sword gets to this position and my shoulders have brought, my right shoulder has brought it all the way forward, I lift that right elbow, letting the tip transcribe an arc along the top. And you'll notice that my sword is not actually rotating on my hand, it's rotating on the balance point of the sword as I bring the shoulder back to actually deliver the shot. This one is really good because you can deliver quite low onto the body of your opponent. It gets over shields because if I'm throwing a snap, somebody's quite likely to lift their shield there, so therefore I can flick it around in behind the shield right into the armpit. So that's quite a nice shot to just practice and have in your repertoire. So going over those three shots again, we have the indirect offside, or at speed. We have the throwing the pommel and then flicking it to the left, which looks like so. And then we have that redirected snap. All of them very good in their own way. Offsides, very well developed. One thing you'll notice that I'm not doing here, it is possible to throw straight offside like this. However, beginners invariably hyperextend that elbow, don't lean into the shot enough, don't generate enough power. So I would recommend at the start practicing one of these more indirect offsides, but they're a lot easier to generate power. Now that we have this onside and offside, let's, for this week, practice a number of switching back to the starting point and then practicing a number of these returns to figure out how to go from one side to the other. Also try with a couple of these indirect offsides, getting down nice and low on the pell. Another thing you'll notice is that when you're throwing this pommel out like so, it is very hard to get it low. That is one of the advantages for the different style of offside. So give those a go for this week. Next week we're going to have a look into various more shots to bring it into a whole flowing routine against this pell, and we will go from there. Catch you again next time. Bye.